Hello and welcome back to this channel Comic Books. Today, we will be doing a recap of a DC Universe visual novel called All-Star Superman. In this comics, after receiving a fatal overdose of solar radiation from Lex Luthor, Superman went about completing several final tasks, including the creation of Earth-Q, the very universe in which the real world exists, before flying into the sun to save it from poisoning by the tyrant star Solaris, repairing it from within. He left behind instructions to combine his genetic code with that of Lois Lane, siring a second Superman who would form the time-spanning Superman squad that would defend this Earth for all time. Led by the original Superman emerged from the sun as a near-divine golden being. Without wasting any time, let's start the video. Chapter 1. At the beginning of the chapter we see Leo Quintum, who leads a space excavation team to the surface of the sun aboard the ship the Ray Bradbury. One of the men's body mutates and he sabotages the ship, courtesy of Lex Luthor. Superman flies to their rescue, exposing his body to 6,000 degrees Fahrenheit. At the Daily Planet, Perry White sees Lois Lane working on an article about Superman saving the crew aboard the Ray Bradbury even though it hasn't happened yet. They receive information that Lex Luthor had caused several rivers to be dammed with intent to profit from global water shortage by tampering with the sun. General Lane walks in to find Lex Luthor barking verbal commands to his weapon aboard the Ray Bradbury. Superman arrives on the ship to pull out the living weapon. As he throws it into the sun, a large explosion occurs. Superman extends his bioelectric field to help protect the ship and take the brunt of the explosion. At Project Headquarters on the moon, Leo Quintum is running tests on Superman. While stronger and faster than ever, the exposure to the stellar radiation has overloaded Superman's cells and Quintum predicts he will soon die. Quintum points out that Luthor had used them as bait to get to Superman. Quintum promises he'll find a way with his genetic research to heal or replace Superman. Clark Kent rushes to a meeting at the Daily Planet while Lex Luthor is arrested for the attempted murder during the sun exploration. Lois Lane babbles on about her day as Clark continually attempts to interrupt her. Eventually, he rips open his shirt to reveal to her that he is Superman. Chapter 2. Superman flies a bewildered Lois Lane out to his fortress of solitude. She is still in disbelief that he's finally revealed his true identity as being Superman and still wants to believe it is just a trick. When Superman picks up the key to open the door, Lois can't believe he just leaves the key lying around. When she attempts to pick up the key and it won't budge, Superman reveals it is made of a super dense dwarf star and no one on the planet can pick it up besides him. Lois takes a shower and preps in the fortress, still contemplating how Superman and Clark Kent could be the same person. Superman stops by and gives her a tour of the fortress, including the Mirror of Truth, City of Kandor, Time Telescope, and a Sun Eater. When Lois stumbles upon a room with replicas that look like her and Superman, she feels queasy as Superman tells her this room is off limits. They have dinner together as he explains more about his past. Lois retires to her room and psyches herself out as she thinks about what's happening in the hidden room and potential evil plans. She decides to grab the kryptonite laser she saw earlier. She stands outside of the off-limits room and blasts Superman with the gun when he opens the door. They are both surprised that Superman's recent physical changes seem to have made him immune to green kryptonite. Superman escorts Lois into his experiment room to reveal her birthday present. He's developed a super serum that will allow Lois to have his powers for one day. He shows her a supersuit he made for her. Chapter 3. Lois Lane drinks the potion given to grant her the same powers as Superman. In Metropolis, the Subtyrannosauri have resurfaced to attack. The warrior, Krull, leads the way. Jimmy Olsen uses his signal watch to summon Superman to the rescue. Chromal travelers, Samson and Atlas, appear to stop the invasion as well as woo Lois Lane. In the underworld, they return Krull to the Subterrani leader for punishment. Samson continues to woo Lois Lane by gifting her a necklace of radioactive crown jewels. He offers to take her on a date through time from the dinosaurs' age to the future. Superman pulls Samson aside asking him why he pursues his woman. Samson shows him a newspaper showing the headline, Superman dead, and tells him she won't be his for long. Suddenly the Ultra Sphinx appears wanting the jewels of Adam Hoda. Samson explains Superman must complete 12 feats. He has already created life, escaped from the Underverse, and overthrown the tyrant sun. The Sphinx asks a riddle to Superman. What happens when an unstoppable force meets an unmovable object? Superman responds with, they surrender, which the Sphinx finds acceptable and releases Lois Lane. Superman agrees to offer a feat of strength against Atlas, and Samson to win over Lois. He arm wrestles them both at the same time and breaks their arms. Superman and Lois fly to the moon and embrace in a deep and romantic kiss. Superman and Lois sit on a rooftop. Lois falls asleep as Superman asks her, will she? Superman then notices she is asleep and instead tucks her into bed. Chapter 4. Jimmy Olsen and Lucy Lane are getting ready in Jimmy's apartment. Lucy reads the newspaper claiming Jimmy won the Worst Dressed Award of Metropolis for the second consecutive year. She threatens to leave him for Rock Handsome to see Frankenstein on ice. At the Daily Planet, Perry White and Jimmy Olsen discuss how everyone reads For a Day columns by Jimmy on the weekends. They are curious how he will top his last article about being America's sweetheart for a day. Jimmy heads to the project headquarters on the moon. Leo Quintum puts Jimmy in charge of project for the day. He is heading to meet with the Electrokind, who are made of tungsten gas and speak only in visual light patterns, to attempt to save Superman from his plight that he was partly responsible for. Jimmy takes a tour of project and stumble upon a door labeled Do Not Open Until Doomsday, which they warn him is too dangerous to open. When Jimmy inspects the Underverse research, a sudden accident puts Jimmy at risk of falling into the super heavy gravity chamber. Perry reviews a recent submission by Clark Kent which he describes as old-school journalism. Superman hears Jimmy's signal watch and takes off quickly to save him. During the rescue, a piece of black kryptonite comes out from the Underverse. While at first no effects are felt by Superman, he slowly starts turning angry and is soon filled with a violent, uncontrollable anger. Local Bizarro men are unable to subdue Superman as he escapes. Superman heads to Metropolis to find Lois Lane. Jimmy follows him with a strange gun. Superman claims he cannot be harmed. Jimmy tells him the gun is not for him and instead injects himself with a serum that turns him into a doomsday creature. Doomsday Jimmy subdues Superman before his watch signals for him to devolve from the doomsday creature. Strangers come upon the knocked-out Superman, and Jimmy doesn't want people to know Superman had gone crazy with the black kryptonite, so he covers for him. Jimmy hacks the project computers to find out they have unlimited wealth as their bank account has an infinity symbol. Jimmy has He Love Lucy written on the moon when he returns home with 2 tickets, and Lucy is excited to see him. Chapter 5. At a court hearing, Lex Luthor is found guilty for crimes against humanity, and Lex blames Superman for his actions. Clark Kent travels to Stryker's Island for an exclusive final interview with Lex before he is sentenced to the electric chair. He meets Lex, who is working on a bibliobot that can recite books to prisoners. Clark clumsily trips on Lex's electric gun, but it was seen as good luck since the gun was about to short out and he may have well saved Lex's life. Lex is absorbed in his own plans and thoughts about Superman's inferiority as Clark follows him around taking notes for his piece. In the basement of the penitentiary, Parasite incites a riot as he starts absorbing energy. Clark is concerned he will provide too much power and awkwardly runs away with Lex, trying to avoid Parasite's touch. As Parasite pursues them, Lex shoots several gunshots into him which are luckily enough to overload Parasite and knock him out from absorbing too much energy. Lex walks over and violently smashes his foot on Parasite until a pink goo is seen splashing about. Upon returning to Lex's cell, he reveals his elaborate plot. The bibliobot was burrowing an escape path below Lex's cell during the commotion. His daughter, Nastalthia, escorts him out of the prison as Lex stays behind, happy to die knowing he finally defeated Superman with his son plan. Chapter 6. Clark recalls speaking with his father, Jonathan Kent, at the Kent farm. Krypto appears and Clark takes him to outer space to play with him. Calvin Elder along with 2 other men appear at the farm to ask Jonathan if he needs any help with the harvest. Meanwhile, Clark meets with Lana Lang and Pete Ross at a local soda shop. Clark leaves to spy on the 3 new visitors when his super hearing picks up something. Calvin Elder surprises Superman and sneaks up on him. He explains he's a member of the Superman squad and they are chasing the Chronivore. His real name is Kal Kent, a Kryptonian born on Earth in the future. They warn Superman that his powers are young and he can't see 5D dimension yet. They attack the Chronivore and plead that Superman stay away as he sucks time away from people. During the scuffle, Superman has 3 minutes taken from him, which so happen to be the 3 minutes during which Jonathan Kent dies. Clark mourns his father at his funeral. The Supermen are ready to take off when Superman Prime arrives and gives him an indestructible flower from New Krypton. And that's all for today, guys. Stay tuned to get more new videos. Stay safe and keep watching.